Well, most of the racing is over for tonight. Ohio finished. Amy and I took the kids to what's it called again? Sky Zone. Sky Zone. It's like a trampoline park. We were supposed to stay in Sandusky and go to Cedar Point's the amusement park. We were staying in. I'm slowing down, sweetie. We were going to stay in Sandusky and go to Cedar Point tonight, but they were calling for rain all night. So we scrapped all our plans, came back to Brunswick, and I made a deal with Addie Bear that after the race, I know where we're at.
I drove through here today because I missed the exit.
It's shocking that you would do that. I don't believe you. Are you telling the truth? She actually is. So we made a deal that we go to the trampoline place after. So JK Victory still has to race in about an hour and a half. Just got done watching Chicago Hall. I thought we were getting a great trip. Favorite on the front. Now Dougie and Sylvain were the favorites, but obviously Sylvain's horse looked like a layover tonight the way he raced. Out of the 9-hole, ear hood on, jog. He looked very, very good. So congratulations to everybody that owns that horse. I think Dan Legacy, if I'm not mistaken, is the owner or part owner of the horse. So good job by him. Got away on the front. Long shot in the 2-hole. Dougie gets away third. I'm thinking maybe Dougie quarter poles. James is first over. We're following James. Not a bad trip. Dougie doesn't move. Getting down the backstretch. So now Dougie has to be first over. Still, the horse in the 2-hole is a long shot. Dougie would have to move his horse. James moves over. Dougie doesn't. Now we're stuck fourth along the rail behind. Something's going on with Marcus Melander's horse that they wouldn't move first over. And the horse in the 2-hole is done. That's Bob McClure. So now we went from being in a great position where we could stay in or out and probably be third, maybe second, but looked like could have been third. Now we're jammed. So, Greek has to wiggle his way through. He ends up a pretty good fifth. Probably trotted 56. But it's and actually Ava was the one that asked why I just thought it was a weird race from Dougie. I don't understand. Obviously they knew something was up with Galen Urso tonight. Horse has been great all year long. Now he gets away in a position where he has to either quarter pole or be first over. You're racing for 300. There's no super consistent drives. So for Dougie not to move him, something clearly had to be up, and it obviously it changed the entire complexity of the race like that. We went from being in a perfect spot with multiple options to being in a bad spot with no options. Now you just have to wait to get out. I think Chris drove the horse perfectly. I think he had the horse in a great spot. It just it did not work out. So picked up fifth is what, 15,000. He made 80 something on the year. A couple of squandered races, but I think we got a decent horse going away and a pretty decent colt coming back. The thing I like about this colt is I just said to Amy two things. One, we know he has speed, right? He's going to get bigger. He's going to get stronger. And most importantly, I guess, as we look at his 2025 season, he's a maiden. So we get to bring him back, race him in the maiden, Elmer's a 2, all up to wherever he can do. Assuming, of course, that he comes back and is a nice colt. But I don't think there's anything would stop him from doing it. Here's a nice, big, strong trotting colt that battled some issues all year, but put away sound, and is going to come back a much bigger, much stronger colt. Wore an open bridle his last 2 starts of the season and raced well with it on. I think we have as good a chance as anybody to have a real good sophomore in Chicago Hall. So that's what took place in Ontario. Now, Ohio was pretty cool. Dexter Dunn was going to drive Freedom Hill. I was driving Aunt Lily, both fillies entering the LASEX program for the first time. Aunt Lily, under her race and under training, showed a tiny bit of blood. But any kind of blood this time of year, especially when you're about to race for $300,000, is an unacceptable amount. And there just isn't a whole lot of ways to mitigate that other than to use the one stop that we all use, which is LASEX. So Aunt Lily entered the LASEX program for that. Now you look at the lackluster form of Freedom Hill heading into tonight in her last 2 outings, again attributed to her bleeding. And again, remedied the exact same way. How would they race? Obviously, the draw, the racing gods were on our side with the draw. I told everybody, although both these fillies were in the consolation heading into the draw, 2 horses did not enter, which left us with 2 entries in the final. Now, what was 12, 8, 5, 8? We get $24,000 minus the driving and training fees for Freedom Hill. So let's say we get 21. That would have been a tick, or almost exactly the same as finishing second in the consolation. So no complaints, I don't think. I think that's fair. But going into the race, obviously concerns. Hold on, honey. Obviously concerns that, 1 with the bleeding and 2 with having to race in the final. How would we do? And Jason put it best. He said, Anthony, before the draw, if somebody had walked up to you and said, hey, we're going to give you $60,000 to not enter. Okay, cool. Fine with me. It's going to make for a tough sledding. If we draw anywhere worse than where we did, it's a different race, a different complexion. I really thought halfway down the backstretch, Aunt Lily was a winner. Mocha Hill looked like she was softish. Ronnie was all at a soap, had the earplugs out, was scrubbing on his horse. She's at a soap. The horse on the front's 15-1. And a nice little tidbit sent to me by Johnny Shue. The filly that won that race, Aunt Laura, is a half-sister to Stay Close, which is pretty cool. But it would have been cool if we were talking about the horse that finished second to us in the final. But instead, she won. Virgil Morgan's barn, again, hot tonight. He won with odds on Hylia in the filly division and won the trotting division with Aunt Laura. We ended up 3rd and 4th. So 3 stake races for $300,000 tonight, so to speak. We were 3rd, 4th, and 5th. No complaints. We get paid with all 3. Not as much as we wanted, obviously, but certainly not as little as we could have got, and a decent night all around. Still got JK Victory coming up. Good luck to all my partners with her. Yes, Adeline Hope McDonald. I'm going to turn all the lights off in just a second, sweetheart, okay? Do you want to say goodbye to everybody? Good night?
Yeah.
Well, they're right there. Say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Take care from Ohio. I hope you guys had a good night. Could always be better, but could always be worse. A pretty decent finish to the stake season, both in Ontario and Ohio. Take care.